All right, greetings family. This is Bomani and I'm here with my two good brothers. I call them the twins of Repatriation, and we're here just to have a nice little brother conversation about what's going on in the daily lives and world of our people. So, what you brothers would like to talk about today?
I just want to talk about the young people, man. Shout out to the young Africans, man. We repatriating, and we got a lot of different people that's different organizations, but they're all coming together for this one goal, and that one goal is repatriation.
Yeah, I mean, and all the young people who's thinking about going that hadn't considered it is now considering it, and I think it's a movement. I think it's global too. People from all over the world is trying to check out Africa just to get back to their roots, and I think it's a beautiful thing.
All right, today we were here driving around North Atlanta.
Yeah.
And you know where I'm at. I'm in South Atlanta.
Yeah.
And, as long as I'm in Atlanta, that's where I'm gonna be at.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about some of the situations where sometimes you're in a nicer part of town where you have that top-notch job. You're making that six-figure salary. You have that big house, or you live in a nice loft, and you just you look around in your community and you see this beautiful and nice, but then you realize that you don't own anything.
Right.
You're just a product of just being basically a consumer. How do you see that compared to the life that you can live in Africa?
Yeah, this is definitely a trap, and the people that do visit Africa, they immediately feel the freedom. They feel the like when I was there, like it was unexplainable. I know for a fact that no matter how nice this is over here, it's still a trap. It's a rat race. I will always be working for somebody else, and they making more profits than me. They're making more of the product than me. They're making everything more than me. But over there is unlimited access to resources, and you just have to understand that it's a different way of life. And for some people, they're attached to this. If you can detach from this, then you can live the most abundant life possible, and that's in the motherland.
And I think about all the conveniences and all the lights and the cameras and the action of America, and honestly, I really don't feel like it is directed towards me. I feel like I'm a byproduct, or the best I could be is an extra in the whole scheme of the social economic pecking order. You're not really in the top. You're not even on the bottom. You're just an afterthought, really, as a black person in America. You know what I'm saying? None of this is designed for you, and the best you could do is try to be, get some crumbs off the floor, and it's not your floor. So it's all about what you want to do. You can have ownership, or you can be a consumer. It's really up to you.
I appreciate you breaking that down, because basically what you're basically saying to me that as long as you live in America and you live this life, you're basically a modern-day slave. You're basically like an upgrade, a 21st century high-tech slave. Our people were stolen from the African continent and brought to the Americas, from Brazil all the way up to North America, to basically be labor the fields, work, make the white folks rich. Like I'm from Jamaica, so in Jamaica they will work our people on the plantation, and then everything goes back to England or Spain. And because those are the two colonization bastards that colonized Jamaica. So it's a lot to really just to mix in and think about. But when you really just look at it, after you've been drilled in your brains that if you go to school, you get the good grades, which all of us have,
right?
And we get the certifications, the degree, we get all of the qualifications, which all of us here have. And then you go out there to the plantation and you get that job, and then you realize you're working around a bunch of Uncle Toms and coons and redneck cracker devils and all kind of other crazy stuff. And you're thinking like, how is me living this life gonna progress my people? How is that gonna uplift and elevate and build something for us? So that's one of those painful conversations, because I'm basically telling someone that if you're a doctor and you're making all of this money, you live on a nicer side of town and everything, and you're living with them good old white folks in North Atlanta, and you don't have to worry about them scary black folks in South Atlanta, which is this big madness and crazy stuff that people stereotype. I have no idea where people came up with that with, but that's how some people think. You know what I'm saying? And regardless how they're really looking at it, is like none of this you own. You live in a community, whether it's populated by black people or populated by mixed or wherever the variation is. Other people own this infrastructure. Other people own the land that your business enterprise on. I can have a nice IT company, and you know what the situation is going to be? I'm out there in one of them strip malls. I don't own the strip mall. So all of the money that I'm making, I'm paying it back to the real estate company. I mean, is that not modern day slavery?
It's a rat race, and then you're like the little rat on that wheel in the cage. And the beautiful thing about it to me is the young people are figuring it out way before we did.
Right.
They're like, oh man, I'm going to work this job. I'm going to just sit here and turn my wisdom on, pay my rent, and not make anything. You know what I'm saying? So they're figuring it out earlier than what we did. And the thing about it is, you know, a lot of the older elders, you know, Richard Pryor and all these people, they were saying, hey man, Africa, man, this and that, look at young blood, you know, Africa. And they looking back and they seeing that. And yo, shout out to y'all young Africans, man, in America, in South America, the Caribbean, Central America, everything, man. Y'all are the future, man, and just keep understanding Africa and doing more research and get this repatriation thing going, because it's happening. It's happening.
And I think about it from the colonial mind stage. You know, they enjoy us staying here. They enjoy us being, you know, batteries for their system. You know, and not really feeding our own self, establishing our own culture, and, you know, providing a future for our own children. We're feeding into their system wholeheartedly, and, you know, jumping at the bit to pay their rents, pay their insurance, pay their interest, and, you know, trying to get a credit score where you can't even control what score they're going to give you. I mean, you might as well just go buy you something that you can own. That's how I see it.
Exactly, and we're not trying to break some of your hearts, because, you know, but we're doing our best as your brothers to share with you what we have experienced, what we see, and we'll be wrong if we didn't. The reality of it is, I spent from 2006 to 2016 traveling back and forth to Ghana 11 times, taking 230 different people. And it's been one of those processes where, you know, sometimes people see I'm quiet and they're like, you know, what is Bomani thinking about? What I'm thinking about is putting together the plan on, like, how can I literally not be coming back to this country and literally be there and set up the enterprise the way I need it to be set up. And over the years, I put it together, and I'm just thankful to the energy of the ancestors and the support of our people, our brothers and sisters, mainly in the African diaspora and the African continent, that have support the energy. And I realized that that everything is about ownership. That, you know, you want to be in the motherland to where you're in somewhere like Ghana in the middle of the country, and you acquire land. You put your money down. That's your land. You build everything you need. You need a headquarters, a tech center. You need an administrative building. You need some guest homes. You need your own fuel plants. You need, you know, your own electrical grid. You need your own organic farming. You know, all those things you can literally have in the purest form in the most beautiful part of the world, the African continent, where the land on the African continent was made for you to live off. Everything is there. That's why everyone is trying to rape and pillage Africa and pulling the resources out. You know, because we're the blessed people, but we're the people that have to make our move and reverse the brain drain. Since so much of us were stolen from our African continent and brought here to build paradise for the white devils in Europe and America. So you people can keep on saying that we built this. I acknowledge that. You don't have to keep on busting me upside the head and remind me. You know what I mean? My ancestors slaved on the plantations of Jamaica until some of them slaved to the point where they died working in the plantation. You know? So no one needs to remind us about that. What we need to do is to use all these skills and all the ideas of what we built here and build what we need to build on the African continent as sustainable as possible, and think of the concept of I'm my brothers and sisters keeper, and flow with the same prophecy of our ancestors. You know, we just got to get back to the essence of things. This is serious. I mean, and some of our people. That's why I'm glad that Trump came in and slapped the taste of you folks' mouth, because y'all been sipping on that 8-year Obama juice to the point where somebody like myself said something critical about him and try to make him accountable. Y'all ready to like string me up and lynch me. So I'm glad this man is in power now, so you people realize that welcome back to the real America.
Exactly. And we're down there in Alabama, and we see it for real. You know, they still got cotton fields there. They might not be picking it like, you know, by hand no more, but the constant reminder of, yeah, we built this country, yeah. So I mean, but what do we own?
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's
what can you pass down? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really hear that a lot too. Every time I want to bring up, let's go back to Africa, and somebody wants to say, oh well, I got this, that, and the other, but you're not gonna be able to pass none of that down to your posterity in America. And that's what we got to start thinking about. Every generation in America starts from scratch. Every child has to, you know, pull itself up. But you know, you got all these generations in Africa that has kept up with the lineage, kept up with their people. They remember. They got the history of us being stolen from the land. So, you know, that's something we can reconnect with, you know what I'm saying, and still regain some identity that we lost.
And then on top of that, you know, I think about the people that bring up, you know, we built this land, we built this and that. I was like, well, we've tried everything here, you know. What's wrong with trying Africa? You know, what's wrong with trying where your people came from with the top abundance of resources of life, of, you know, they feed the world, they feed the whole world with the stuff to make the technology that you know, connected to. Everything you say you can't live without is really refined out of the dirt of Africa. So, you know, people, they just haven't done any research. The more I think about it, it's just like they coming with more rhetoric and their emotion, they emotionally attached to this land. But, you know what I'm saying, as soon as they see it, so everybody that goes to Africa comes back different. They come back with more, you know, enthusiasm, more bird's eye view of the world we live in, and they can see, you know, yo, these capitalists, these people from Europe are reigning over us. They got power and we don't. You know what I'm saying? They can say, oh, twins, y'all got to go to jail, and you can't do anything about it. You what can you do? You can't do anything. So that's the difference between America and the figment of your imagination is here, and over there it's like literal paradise. It's like, that's the only word you can use to describe it. So I just give those people that's, you know, connected to America's titty, that, you know, that's all there is. They just,
it's dependency. You know, we can be independent in Africa. We can't be independent in America.
Absolutely, and we try to just share with everyone this different feel of certain things and how things work, but and it's just up to everyone to really just start putting it together little by little. Think about all of your favorite stars and celebrities. Think about all of the black people that you said that they have came up, man. They have done it. They have made it. They've been programmed with individualism to the point where any of us that do certain things and succeed, we're cut off from the reality of the rest of the black people. So if America was all this good and everything and really, you know, care and want to see us progress, you know, why do we have these roadblocks in the way? Why does someone like an athlete that makes $30 million a year, why is he surrounded by nothing but white people? Every single person that he sees in his daily life is white. All of the people that's getting those checks, you know what I'm saying? Where is the flow of the resources back into the so-called black community? You know, so it's like, you have to understand your position here. You are either these big time $40-50 million slaves, or, you know, celebrity slaves, or just out there or just a regular person on the plantation. But it's all the same. So I'm gonna take you back in time, you know, back into the plantations of Georgia, because that's where we are, and just share with you the system of how things are, family. Doing the plantation system, and Malcolm is the best. Malcolm give the best overview of this as far as the house Negro and the field Negro. Yeah. And, you know, that's what we are here. We are field Negroes here, and we're sick and tired of the plantation. We're sick and tired of this being treated like we're just nothing but slaves, and that's all we're here and made for. And then you have people who glorify their slavery, like, you know, the smile and the yes sir boss, yes sir master, and they can't wait to get up into the big house, and they enjoy getting the master patting them like his masters of the dog and everything. It's like, don't you ever get tired of being like the white man's nigga, the white man's bitch, the white man's, you know, don't you ever get tired of that? And it's like, you know, it's like, I'm not like leading people off into nothing. I'm telling you what I've experienced. I've been to 8 countries on the African continent. I've been traveling since 2004, purposely for the purpose of wanting to know more about my roots and culture and leave permanently, be away from this country, America, and be able to process my dreams. It's like once I started going back to Africa, I was able to dream again. I started realizing that there's things that I can achieve, that my only position is not just to be someone's worker, you know, or on a plantation. I can actually be a leader. I can actually be an organizer, run organization operations for my family, for my people, for us as black people around the continent, around the world, around the globe, whatever you want to say. Black people are everywhere, but we as a people don't have that centralized base. Like the Chinese people have China, Japanese have Japan, and no matter where they are in the world, they're protected by that force. It's like you don't see Japanese being lynched or Chinese being lynched. You remember what happened during World War II, Pearl Harbor? That was this all-out warfare. But it's like ever since those issues, in the Asian countries, you've never really seen any kind of outslaught of this attacking of this Asians. So maybe America have issues in North Korea, but then again, I mean,
ain't no North Koreans here getting slaughtered. I mean, nobody's shooting them down in the street. The thing about it to me is, I see the North Koreans and or whatever Asians, they messing with each other, So if you're in America and you're of another nationality, at least those people are together doing business. Here in America, we black people, we're not conglomerating because everybody's got their own ideology here. This is Babylon. You might have a person come over here and they don't see themselves as African, or they don't see themselves as black. They want to be called something else. It's just like everything's just confused. We can't even come together and just do something. And if we go to Africa, at least we all know that we have the same ideology. We can build on a solid foundation. Africa, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if we go to Ghana, if we go to Nigeria, wherever. We left where we was in order to build this Africa thing. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever nation you go to, if you don't choose Ghana, it's cool. But if you leave here and you go over there, then you know for a fact that you can build with other diaspora based upon the fact that we unified in the motherland. And that's one of the things Kwame Nkrumah was talking about. It's like, yo, man, if we got a rendezvous point, if we got a headquarters, it's got to be over there. It's the most potent and it's got the most resources. So,
and I think it's just time. You know what I'm saying? We've tried everything. We've done all the marching, all the protesting, all the voting, all the picketing, all the sit-ins, and the police brutality. How much more do we have to see? We can't even peaceful protest without the National Guard coming in. We don't have any military firepower as a people. We don't have any political pull, and we don't have any economic power or leverage in America. So I'm saying we could go to Africa and nothing else, heal from the damage of the oppression of imperialist, colonial, indoctrination and this whole, institutional racism. We can go over there and just be amongst ourselves. We can love one another and build how we would build. You know what I'm saying? Everything we look around in America and we know that no black person had any hand in designing these institutions. So we can go to Africa and know that, hey, a black man, built this hospital, a black man built this restaurant, a black man done this. So if you don't get service, it wasn't because you was black, you just was busy doing something else. You know what I'm saying? But here, you might get, assaulted because they thought you stole something or something. You don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder, like who's watching you. You're a black person in Africa. That's where you're supposed to be. So nobody thinks it's strange being black in Africa. So that was a beautiful feeling in itself.
Appreciate you, brothers. I definitely like the way you share the dialogue and the details as far as this, your experience, because at the end of the day, that's pretty much what it's all about. It's your experience, and so we're letting people know that some of us see things different, and some of us realize that we're still caught up into the concept that we built this, so we should just stay and suffer, and we're still caught into that same situation of that bad relationship. Your spouse is dealing with you just in the wrong way, just in the worst set of way, and you keep on thinking that it's going to get better, and you keep on lying to yourself. You know, it's taking it back to that whole psychological mindset, and it's never going to get better in America. We've done our best and our finest. It's time to move forward, and I'm not saying everybody needs to just pack up and just run out like that. Work on a strategic plan, put things together, and we're building a stronger repatriation energy in the African continent. That way we can have bases and organized setups. That way if any of our people from the African diaspora is ready to leave, we can have things in place for them. So the things that we have saw on the African continent from when we started traveling, and we saw as maybe what people would call issues, you know, we look at, hey, this is opportunities to create certain things. And the better we can create that, the better it is for where we can really get our people connected. Because some of our people are still connected to like, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to have electricity, water? How are we going to have, what are we going to eat and all this stuff? Like, we're just going to have you out in the middle of the jungle and there's nothing. I was in the U.S. Navy, and trust me, everywhere the military went, they're under they're in the ocean, and they have civilization on that on that submarine. They're in the middle of the water on that aircraft carrier, civilization. So my point is, let's use those concepts. Even when we talk about like Walt Disney buying up all our wetland property in Florida, now he has the Walt Disney Resort, one of the richest men on the planet. You know, we have to be pioneers if we want to achieve anything. Our slave masters have locked this place down to the point where they even work the system to where if you're a black man, good luck in America, because everything is like having all the weapons in the world pointed to you.
Oh man!
You are target 101. And the best thing I can recommend to my brothers is, hey, especially if you're single, leave here and marry into the African continent, African culture, a specific African country. And the same thing for my sisters here. Instead of you going back into these relationships with some of these guys that you just feel that are just not on your level, not gonna be able to provide and be a man or whatever it is, you look at those other options. And before we get more into that, which we'll talk about later in another conversation, definitely wanted to just thank you guys for the sharing, and also want to know if you have any final thoughts on the situation of us in America and needing to leave and build a future in Africa.
I just want to say that the consciousness shift is actually happening as the weather warms up. People are feeling it. I just want my people out here to be safe, be aware of your surroundings, and literally research Africa. Take your time, sit there and study. You know what I'm saying? Study who you are, who your people are, and what education was they learning, what spiritual system was they learning, how do they live, and once you figure that out, I know you're gonna want to go. So that's all I want to say.
And we're leaving Babylon. It's a good feeling. Just imagine no racism. If you can put it in your mind, you can achieve it. So just look into getting back to the motherland, your ancestral homeland, place where we originated. So
All right, perfect. Would you guys like to share any contact information? Anyone want to reach out to you in reference to anything?
Ghana Recon Tours on Facebook. Repatriation Africa Facebook /Repatriation.
Excellent, family. So once again, family, this is Bomani Tamba, and I'm here with my two good brothers, Titus and Tyree.
Yes.
Right? Our twins of repatriation. So we're going to be there in the motherland, being a part of the growth and development. So please reach out to us, and we'll connect and keep it strong.